I once risked my life to save Darius, the Lord of the Night, in the Silver Moon Forest. He remembered my face. But when he came to propose, he mistook my sister Elise, who looked almost identical me, for the woman he was looking for. The Duchess forbade me from speaking the truth.
Even if you did speak up, do you honestly think a lord of his standing would ever marry a low-born half-elf bastard?
But Elise never got to enjoy her good fortune. She died of illness before the blood bonding ceremony. My father, unwilling to let such power slip through his hands, transferred the engagement to me. He assumed that since we looked alike, even a stand-in would be enough to please the Lord. He was wrong. Darius only hated me.
You have the same face, so why was it her who died and not you?
He was cold to me always, and never believed a word of the truth I tried to tell him. When I was reborn, I came back to the very day Darius had just announced his engagement to Elise. I knelt before the Duchess. To keep things from getting complicated, my lady, it would be best to arrange my marriage as soon as possible.
Why are you suddenly bringing this up?
The Duchess was caught off guard, after all. Just days ago, I had been clenching my teeth, refusing to give an inch. Only when she threatened my birth mother's life had I been forced to reveal the details of how I'd saved Darius. The Silver Moon Forest, a torrential downpour. Darius had been ambushed by demon hunters, struck with holy silver venom, and plunged into a mindless blood frenzy. It was I who suppressed my fear with my half-elfin blood. When we parted, his voice was rough.
I'm on a covert mission. I can't reveal who I am. Tell me your name. When this is over, where do I find you?
I told him my name was Arya, and that I'd soon be heading south to the Duke's estate. My mother was gravely ill at the time, and I was out of options. My only recourse was to seek out the high and mighty Duke, who happened to be my father. He took it in. He stood in the pouring rain and held my gaze for a long moment.
I will remember you.
Except, my highborn sister at Elise happened to wear the very same face. It was only when he came in person that I realized the man I'd saved was Darius, Lord of the Night. After a few murmured pleasantries, Elise sprinked on a heavy cloud of moongrass perfume to mask the scent of her human blood. I have admired you as well, my lord. But I don't know what you mean. Who is Arya?
The Duchess' gaze slid toward me. She knew that Arya was my elven true name, the one I'd been forced to abandon when I arrived at the Duke's estate and took a human name instead. It's you. From now on, Arya is your true name.
I was forced to give Elise every detail. Conveniently, Elise had a delicate constitution and had once recovered from an illness near the edge of the Silver Moon Forest. Darius heard her account, believed every word, and set the engagement on the spot.
Smart girl,
the Duchess said, recovering herself with a mild smile.
I'll marry you off somewhere far away with a generous dowry. The moment the blood bonding ceremony is done, you take that sickly mother of yours and get out of this estate for good.
I let out a long breath and quietly said yes. My marriage needed to be arranged without delay. For one thing, keeping me under the same roof made the Duchess uneasy. For another, Elise had only a few months left to live. She had always been frail, anxious by nature, and prone to overthinking. Later, she gave her heart entirely to Darius. The kinder Darius was to her, the worse she felt, and the more terrified she became of being exposed. Every day she lived on a knife's edge. A severe bout of fever was all it took. She never got out of bed again. After Elise died, Darius spent months in a black mood. My father, loath to lose such a powerful son-in-law, saw that I resembled her and pushed me forward in her place.
The Lord is devastated by your sister's death. Go keep him company. If nothing else, at least be a comfort to him.
He had miscalculated. Darius assumed I was deliberately imitating Elise, that I was calculating and manipulative, that I had engineered my way close to him out of naked ambition. His contempt for me grew with each passing interaction until it had no further to go. Even when he agreed to marry me, for the sake of my face and nothing else, there was not a shred of warmth in it. On the night of the bonding, he lifted my veil. He studied me for a moment, then gave a contemptuous little laugh. That night, he blindfolded me. I was not allowed to look at him. I was not allowed to make a sound. What followed was months of cold indifference. I finally worked up the courage to ask him, "What if I told you? The one who saved you was me. And Arya really is my true name." But the living can speak in their own defense. But in his mind, the dead Elise would always be perfect. And it had been 3 years. His memory had blurred. My account was no clearer than the one Elise had fed him. Darius listened, his brow knotting tight, then swept the spell roller off the table in one sharp motion. The crash was deafening.
You used your resemblance to her to grab power. That was bad enough.
His voice went flat.
Now you want to steal what she did too. That is beneath contempt.
That day, I was made to kneel on the steps outside the blood cells. Snow fell in every direction. People passed. No one dared look at the lady of the night in her humiliation. No one dared bring an umbrella. I was frozen through. I collapsed against the steps, the cold going from my body straight into my bones. That was when I lost my child. When I woke, my only company was my blood thrall. Her expression was pained, as she chose her words carefully. Even the messenger sent to inform him of my mucurage had been turned away. His lordship still did not know. With his first love's memorial day approaching, no one in the entire realm dared risk angering the Lord. I lay with my back to the window. Tears ran from my cheeks, down to the collar of my dress. I was full of regret. If I could go back years, I never would have saved him. If only a few months ago, I had not married him.
A few days later, a stack of parchment smelling of age and old ink was tossed onto my table, a ledger of eligible lords. For once, the Duchess was generous. Every name on the list was a powerful northern lord who controlled his own territory and answered to no one, not out of sudden kindness.
Of course, Elise's lies still had gaps, and I was the only one who could fill them. Exactly what did you do to save him in the forest? Elise leaned back against a velvet chair, her eyes betraying anxiety she couldn't quite hide. I kept it vague. I couldn't afford proper healing potions, so I packed the wound with some low-grade bloodweed. He complained it was too slow. I felt embarrassed, so I snapped back that a badly wounded vampire couldn't handle a strong dose. The water wasn't clean, so I collected morning dew from flower petals. He couldn't stand the taste, and I told him he was being spoiled.
Elise committed every detail to memory.
Good. If he asks, I'll tell him the steward withheld my supplies. That's why things were so grim.
Every alibi she built was airtight. The lies were riddled with holes, but to a man blinded by love, they were flawless.
In my past life, those same scripts of half-truth
Had been enough to fool Darius completely. Once we had finished rehearsing the story, Elise glanced down at the portraits with her usual air of superiorities. All these country lords put together aren't fit to polish his lordship's boots. She raised an eyebrow at me, her tone probing.
Little sister, are you really all right giving up a man like that? I didn't even look up. Not a ripple inside me. Not at all. The Lord of the Night is well above my station.
Elise pulled out one of the portraits, tossing it to me.
Go meet this man tomorrow. If he suits, we can get rid of you while I'm still unbound. Tidy up two things at once.
The name they settled on was Orion, who ruled the frozen wastes as the Frost Lord. When Elise pointed to his name, her lips curved with quiet malice. Everyone knew the frozen north was brutal and unforgiving, and this lord had a reputation for being cold-blooded and ruthless. Sending me there was exile in everything but name. I agreed without hesitation. The Duchess moved quickly, arranging a meeting at a discreet tavern near the border. In the low flicker of candlelight, I finally laid eyes on the man they called a tyrant. Orion's features were as striking as something carved from ice and winter, his deep-set eyes holding a detachment that kept the world at arm's length. His long fingers lifted a cup of hot tea and pushed it across to me. He stated his terms without preamble.
I don't like complications. After the blood bonding ceremony, all matters inside and outside Winterkeep are yours to manage. If you're worried about your mother, bring her north to recover. She's welcome.
His directness caught me off guard. He had clearly already looked into my situation.
Only, I'll be returning to the front, so the wedding will have to be a simple one.
A straightforward arrangement with no games, exactly what I wanted. I cradled the warm cup and laid out everything the Duchess had concealed. I told him I only knew basic healing arts, and hadn't the finest grasp of any high magic or dark spellwork. Orion listened without interruption. When I finished, a rare faint smile crossed the hard line of his mouth. The meeting went surprisingly well. We agreed to formalize the engagement in 3 days. But just as I was pulling my cloak tight to leave, a commotion erupted from the tavern floor below. Darius stood at the bar in inconspicuous dark clothing, leaning against the counter with an air of bored ease.
My lord, so the Frost Lord is taking a bride.
Darius swirled his glass, his tone casually amused.
The north is so far. I doubt I'll make it to drink to your health. The Night Realm keeps me occupied enough. No need to trouble yourself.
Darius's gaze drifted past Orion and settled idly on me, wrapped in my cloak.
That young woman looks familiar. Which family is she from?
Orion stepped forward without a flicker of expression, blocking his line of sight completely.
The Southern Duke's estate.
The air went quiet for a beat. The hand holding Darius's glass stilled slightly, as though he'd been caught by a passing thought. 2 years ago, in the Silver Moon Forest, he had asked me the very same question. My answer had been the same.